We welcome Mr. Vice President to Egedegede, Kalago, and the harmful areas affected by the recent attack by herders.
So you have to go back.
The Honorable Minister of Information and State Orientation.
By the herders some days ago.
Your Excellency, on Monday, 29th March 2021, we were gruesomely attacked, which left us with the dead bodies of our illustrious sons and other road users of Egedegede Ihamufu Federal Road, littered all over with dead bodies. This attack left most of our houses burnt and our valuable properties vandalized. Your Excellency, we want to place on record that the people of Egedegede communities have accommodated the herdsmen for some time now. The Ebonyi State government and security agencies swiftly arrested the suspects who are currently being prosecuted. The Egedegede communities are also made of peace. They also made peace with the herdsmen and have since been living in peace before this attack. Your Excellency, more shocking is the discovery that all the herdsmen living in the state local government had disappeared without trace before the attack on 29th March 2021, confirming our suspicion that this wanton killing is premeditated. Your Excellency, as we speak, number of identified deaths whose bodies have been discovered so far are 15 persons from Ebonyi State, 2 from Enugu State, and 1 from Anambra State. About 38 persons sustained injuries and are receiving treatments in various hospitals. 60 houses, 2 vehicles, and 25 motorcycles were burnt to ashes by the herdsmen. Your Excellency, in the course of recovering the dead bodies from the bush, the attackers left behind devices and some belongings which has been submitted to the government and security agencies for profiling and further actions. The devices left behind further depicted the identity of the assailants. Your Excellency, it is worthy of mention that the people of Egedegede communities and its environs, whose houses were burnt and properties destroyed, have been displaced and rendered homeless, while the wives and children of the deceased are now widows and fatherless. The urgent intervention of the federal government to assist the families of the bereaved for the welfare of the wives who lost their husbands and children who lost their fathers. B, the replacement of vehicles and motorcycles burnt, reconstruction of the destroyed houses, settlement of accumulated hospital bills. C, the creation of military posts within the Egedegede Junction, being the boundary between Ebonyi and Enugu states. D, the arrest and prosecution of the assailants. E, that the herdsmen who left Isielu local government on the eve of the martyrdom may be interviewed by relevant security agencies to explain their culpability or otherwise. The dialed numbers of the people involved in this case. We also have the phone numbers of the people involved in this case saved. We have all of this. We have also some pictures which reveal their actions and activities. Sir, we are handing this over to you and we want you to please take action on this thing because the deed was premeditated and we are not happy.
Excellency, we woke up morning of Tuesday, the 30th, hear the shocking news of the unprovoked massacre of not less than 20 at the time the press were made to know. But every day they continue to discover dead bodies from the bushes around here. Until that there were also 3 people massacred. That's where the burning of houses and the vehicles burning and looting took place. But what happened was that these people by 8 p.m. on 29th of March themselves and they were going towards the communities. So every of the Okada with the passenger were hacked down. Initially they were using knife, so there was no idea that nobody knew what was happening until they got to the communities, and that's where they started shooting, and that's how people got to know. And the villagers mobilized and started pursuing them. The process, I'm told, when they came to visit and when we came here, that the murderers left a telephone. Even 3 days later, the telephone was still ringing. It contains the pictures, murderers. It contains their contact. Whom are they calling? Who is calling them? Your Excellency, these things are enough to get these people apprehended. If government fails to do something, sir, it will be on record that the people did their best by providing this very vital information. The killers are not hidden. They are there, sir, with their pictures, the call logs. I'm told there is a particular person they were calling. They call him Bishop Frank Shakespeare. Called him before the attack, called him after the attack. Your Excellency, I'm told that there are over 50 contacts there. There are over 50 call logs, there. I believe, sir, that what they have given to you will be very helpful. I'm aware, sir, that we visited this community a year ago when 2 people were killed. Were the herdsmen that were killed. The truth remains that the security people and the community and government came together. But very shocking is that at the point of all the herdsmen living in Isielu local government who have been living peacefully with us all vacated their locations, which means that they are aware of the killings. And it is very disheartening. Your Excellency, we have made all efforts peace between the herdsmen and farmers in this state and by extension in Southeast. We have a platform. We have involved even the herdsmen in our local governance. There is no name we are not being called. The governors of Southeast called us cowards and all kinds of names because we know that there is a need for peace in this country. We don't want another civil war in this country. But it is in the hands of everybody. I'm told this afternoon that another set of calls are going to the herdsmen that are in Ebonyi, that they should vacate. They want to attack again. Let me, as the chief security officer, say that there will be serious consequences if another attack happens in Ebonyi State, because nobody will be able to hold the youth, nobody will be able to hold the people, and they would have played into the hands of our enemies. Please do everything possible to forestall this, since we know them. It is very, very important that we do everything to forestall any further attack, not only in Ebonyi, in the entire Southeast, and by extension, the country. Excellency, we'll be requesting the CP, the GOC, that are doing wonderfully very well. They have positioned people here because the communities are deserted. Of course, they are living in IDP camps. Their houses are burnt, their properties burnt, looted, and they are afraid of even returning from the IDP camps. Something needed to be done, sir. One, to instill confidence for them to return back to their burnt places. We need more security. The two security people, IGP, have been speaking with him, the GOC, they are doing their best, but we need more security here. These people's spirits, how do they move? Where do they move? In the afternoon, we see roadblocks, especially in Southeast. What happens at night? How will people travel, kidnap people in Kaduna State, and they travel, them to Zamfara State? I mean, I believe this federal government should ask these questions. These people did not travel by foot many kilometers to come here to kill. I've directed vigilante all over to take charge of all the villages. Take charge of all the villages. And time has come, sir, for the federal government to approve state police. Because we can't use our bare hands to face people that have AK-47. It's quite annoying. You see people with guns, you won't do anything because you're obeying the law. If this kind of killing continues, people will definitely begin to disobey the law. And it is going to be anarchy. And this is very bad. It is only where there is peace and there is Nigeria that people begin to talk about positions. We need to be alive. And this is very important. So Nema should have visited even ahead of you. Bring food for these people in ID. Bring clothing for them. Then bring building materials. I will be requesting, sir, under the control of this community, for 2 billion naira so that they can start to rebuild their houses to return back. This money should be under a committee of federal government, state government, and the community. But we like the community to take charge of the fund, put their places. I want to thank you, Your Excellency. We are grieving. That's why a kola nut was not presented. Each time the people of Igbo extraction are grieving, they don't present kola nuts.
First, let me begin by saying that it's a very, very, very sad day, very, very sad occasion. Very, very sad indeed, and very, very unfortunate. I'm here not just by myself, I'm here also at the direction of Mr. President. There are times when things like this happen, when people are killed, when incidents like this happen. And the reason is that, first, those who have been killed, those who have been mercilessly massacred in this way, are people like you and I, human beings like you and I, who have hopes and aspirations, young ones, women, children, who have hopes and aspirations like you and I, who are people who woke up in the morning, they expected to go about their daily business. They're expected to go out and fend for themselves. But they ended up dead, not because of anything they have done wrong, but because of the cowardly, wicked acts of some other people who lived in the community with them. I want to say that it's a very deeply distressing thing, and I sympathize not just with the governor and the people of Ebonyi State, but in particular, the people of the communities that have been affected. This peaceful community, a community that has lived with their assailants for many years, many years. I think that what we have seen here is very cowardly and wicked, and all of us condemn it, and we say that it must not be allowed to happen again. The attacks of 29th March, when we heard and when we looked at all of these things, one of the things that has occurred to us is, what do we need to do to ensure that these kinds of things do not repeat themselves? What do we need to do to ensure that these things do not repeat themselves? One is to beef up security. That is very important. Already we're in conversation with the GOC and with the army about ensuring that there is more security provided here so that prompt action can be taken in the event that anybody wants to do any further havoc. Let me assure you that we will seek justice on behalf of those who have died, not just because they are Nigerians, but because they are human beings and they deserve justice. They deserve justice. Anybody who watches another person killed next to him and does not feel angry and pained and does not feel that the person deserves justice must answer to God, ultimately. So do not be under any illusion. I've been given an address. Prof already has given me the address. Professor Alumode, the community leader, has given a list of logs, phone numbers, and some photographs. I think here there are maybe about 4 or 5 photographs or so. Some people there's a young man, and I'm sure that some of you have seen those photographs. This is what must be investigated thoroughly. I don't want to leave here giving the impression that I have a list of all those who committed offenses. I do not have that list in this. I'm a lawyer and a professor of law. I want to make sure that we are clear as to what I have been given. So I have a call log, a long list of names. I also have some photographs. This is what must be, these things will be investigated, but there are many other people. The number of people who were killed and the offenses that were committed could not have been committed by 3 or 4 people. There must have been many others who were involved, and that must be investigated thoroughly. And I can assure you that I at least will pursue it and make sure that we agreed certain things when things like this happen. One of the things we agreed is that we will jointly pursue the ends of justice, that is to say, federal government and the state governments. We will also make provisions as much as is possible between the federal government and the state governments for those who have lost their lives, their relations, and also whatever can be done to support those communities. But I want to say to His Excellency, it's a joint effort, state and federal government. The federal government will do the best we can, and it's not just once. I agree with you that NEMA must come here, assess the damage, and give as much support as they can do We now have a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, and once I get back to Abuja, I will notify the minister to say that the kind of thing that has happened here, just as the governor has said, just has the tendency to create even further trouble, much more trouble. What has happened here can envelope not just this state, but several other states. If people choose to revenge, if you choose to revenge, if you choose to fight back, we do not know where it will end. Nobody knows where it will end. As you have done the right thing, in my view. You have very peacefully presented the case. You have very peacefully conducted yourselves. You have reported to the authorities. You have sought the right support from the government. It is up to the government to make sure that they provide the best that they can. But we must be careful also not to seek revenge, because we do not know where it will end. At the end of the day, I pray for everybody, especially those who have lost so much. There's no way you can buy that. No matter how much money, you cannot buy back a life. And nobody knows the potential of any life. There's no way we can, by saying sorry, there's no way we can fully compensate. But I want you to know that one way by which we can do something is by seeking justice and by providing for the families of those who have lost their homes. And we will do so. We'll do so. So once more, let me again sympathize with all members of the community, the leadership and members of the community, and to say that I pray that this kind of thing, we will never see another thing like this again.